July 1st, 2015, adult marijuana prohibition came to an end in Oregon. Immediately, over 400,000 adults who consume cannabis responsibly were no longer criminals. This is what freedom sounds like. Brought to you by Portland Normal.
Now it's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhale frequently.
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great.
Just not cannabis.
Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical Russ Belville.
Ah, yes. Welcome back, everybody. It's almost 4:03 in the Pacific time zone. Got our little celebratory moment of legalization in Oregon. Going to play that throughout the 4th of July weekend. The piano you hear in the background of that is Oregon's state song, which is called Oregon, Oh, Oregon. It's a little more than Oh, Canada. It's Oregon, Oh, Oregon. Big thanks to my chat room out there, by the way.
Well, the weather for the whole area will continue much the same as the past few days. Temperatures 17 centigrade, that's 49 Fahrenheit. Winds will freshen later tonight to southwest, force 6 or 7. And there will be showers, sometimes heavy in many... Oh, sod it. I didn't want to do this. I don't want to be a weather forecaster. I don't want to rabbit on all day about sunny periods and patches of rain spreading from the west. I want it to be a lumberjack, leaping from tree to tree as they float down the mighty rivers of British Columbia. The giant redwood, the larch, the fir, the mighty Scots pine, the lofty flowering cherry, the plucky little aspen, the limping rude tree of Nigeria, the towering wattle of Aldershot, the maidenhead creeping water plant, the naughty Leicestershire flashing oak, the flatulent elm of West Ruislip, the Quercus maximus bamba gascoignei, the Ephagilus labata huius greenus. With my best buddy by my side, we'd sing, sing, sing. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I eat my lunch, I go to the lavatory. On Wednesdays I go shopping and have buttered scones for tea.
He cuts down trees, he eats his lunch, he goes to the lavatory. On Wednesdays he goes shopping and his buttered scones for tea.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day.
I cut down trees, I skip and jump, I like to press wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars.
He cuts down trees, he skips and jumps, he likes to press wildflowers. He puts on women's clothing and hangs around in bars.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspenders and a bra. I wish I'd been a girlie, just like my dear papa.
He cuts down trees, he wears high heels, suspenders and a bra. He's okay, sleeps all night and he works all day. He's a lumberjack, he's okay. Sleeps all night and he works all day.
Of course, Monty Python with the Lumberjack song. I had to play that. Number one, because the chat room was talking about it. And number two, to highlight a story today, a little off the warpath. Gonna go a little off the warpath with this one, but did you hear that the TV Land network, that shows all the old classic TV reruns, has pulled the Dukes of Hazzard from its lineup because of the Confederate flag on the General Lee, the car that the Duke boys used to drive to escape the clutches of Boss Hogg. And look, I'm totally on board with this. Let's get the Confederate flag off of the state houses, off of the government properties and all that. And I also recognize that what's happening here with TV Land is not censorship. Nobody's forcing them to take this off. They're doing it as a business decision. They just crunch the numbers like, well, I have the problem with all the kerfuffle. Let's just take it off the air. I understand that this is not anti-First Amendment. But what it is, it's a little weird. It's just a little weird to me. I just fear, and maybe this is facing my own irrelevance as impending irrelevance as a white man, right? Let's just blame it on that. But this sense of outrage that comes from people, and to me, it seems a lot of it's fake outrage, faux outrage for outrage's sake, being triggered by words and symbols without understanding context around them necessarily, right? The context of putting a Confederate flag on a state house is massive, right? That's a massive symbol there. It being on reruns of a TV show from the early 80s is not. Well, all that represents is ignorance in the 1980s, let's say. And it's a show that was a comic portrayal of Southern stereotypes, right? I mean, what, are we going to have to pull the episodes of Hogan's Heroes because they've got swastikas on Colonel Klink? How does this work now? What world are we living in now? We gotta pull episodes of Bosom Buddies because it demeans the transgendered or transvestites, I suppose. Because never mind, let's not even get into it. It's just weird. Like, there's all sorts of things that are in our art and our history that reflect the tenor of those times. And censoring or whitewashing that demeans and diminishes the intent of the artist and the true context in which that art was developed. Okay? For instance, like, it would be awful beyond awful. It'd be the worst thing ever for someone to perform a blackface minstrel show today, obviously. But that doesn't mean we should go burn the celluloids of Al Jolson back in the early 20th century when he was doing that. We should remember that. It should be archived. It should be remembered for the context it was in. I don't want to start to see classic comedies and movies sanitized of things that were at the time they're funny and now viewed through today's perception. I can see people wanting to cut these things. For example, take the movie Airplane, right? Remember the stewardess I speak jive bit? That would be out. Are we going to take that out? We're going to censor that out of the movie? Let's go to Blazing Saddles. Hell, you have to censor about half that movie. Don't move or the nigger gets it. That's going to have to go, right? Because, oh my God, he said the N-word. And really, the scene itself was kind of an anti-racism thing if you get the context of what he was doing. Are we gonna take the scene out of Animal House where Pinto has the drunk underage co-ed in his bedroom passed out, and there she is topless, and he's got the devil and the angel fighting over whether or not he should fuck her? We got to take that scene out. Oh my God, we're rape culture. Oh, geez, speaking of rape culture, let's go to Revenge of the Nerds. How about the scene in Revenge of the Nerds where the head nerd puts on the Darth Vader mask that the boyfriend of the cheerleader was wearing and seduces her in the moon cave or whatever the hell it was, the bouncy cave, right? And, pretending to be someone he's not. That's rape. We got to take that out of the movie now? We have to censor that? I mean, are these things going to turn out like, did you know the movie Holiday Inn? I don't know if you know this movie. It's like a 40s movie, black and white. Is it black and white? I think it is. It's like a holiday movie. It's like a Christmas movie, right? There's a scene in that, and Bing Crosby is the star of this movie, right? America, the crooner, Bing Crosby. There's a scene in the movie where they're doing blackface, where Bing Crosby is in blackface. You didn't know that, did you? Because they censored that out of the movie. They took that. It's been removed from the movie. Now, again, people have the choice to, change and alter their views and to see or not see certain things. But I worry when we get this society that has this notion that we need to take the word nigger out of Huck Finn, for example, Tom Sawyer. And some of these modern replacements of it have put the word slave in its place, where Huck Finn refers to his friend as slave. And it changes the context of what's going on in that conversation, in painting what the time was, what the world was like then. You put the word slave in Huck Finn's mouth. It's Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, whatever. You put the word slave in his mouth. That is a context that says this is a person that belongs to a master, that belongs to someone else. Therefore, this person has a lower station than that master. You put the word nigger in his mouth and it changes it to that person is of lower status than even that boy has. It changes the context of what's going on there. I think of classic Saturday Night Live skits. I think of classic Richard Pryor albums, Red Fox albums, all sorts of things that were said and meant in the context of the 70s that actually were against racism, that were against ignorance. Carlin, my God, that now, I mean, if the PC police were going to come in, those things would be cut to hell, censored up, all sliced up. I don't know. It's hard for me to get my head around the idea that you got to take the Dukes of Hazzard off TV because of the Confederate flag on the car when the show was as apathetic about racism as anything, if anything, in that show. I mean, I don't get the world I'm living in sometimes. All right, let me take a break. We'll be right back.
The beginning of the end started in 1996 when California legalized weed for so-called medical purposes. 16 years later, Washington and Colorado legalized it outright and let people sell it from storefronts. And what has been the result?
The generation of millions of dollars in tax revenue for the states and creation of hundreds of new jobs in a growing multi-billion-dollar industry?
No. Well, yes, but at what cost?
Let's see. The cost of all that police time and money that's now spent going after real criminals and prisons with enough room to hold them all?
No. Well, yes. Yes, but look at what it's done to the people.
You mean that fewer of them are dying of alcohol, tobacco, and prescription-related causes since they've switched to cannabis, and many more are receiving medical benefit from a cheap, non-toxic healing herb?
No. Well, yes to all of that, but I can smell pot from my backyard, and I can't tell my kids not to do it because it's illegal.
420 Radio, fighting prohibition since 2012.
Hey, this is Willie Nelson for Normal. And I smoke pot and I like it a lot. I learned a long time ago that marijuana is a lot safer than alcohol. There's nothing wrong with the responsible use of marijuana by adults. It's time we stopped arresting and started respecting those who smoke marijuana responsibly. To learn what you can do to help, contact Normal at norml.org or call toll-free 888-67-NORMAL.
Funky Roller Ring.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening, Groovy Cats? This is your Funk Master of Ceremonies, Big Daddy, and I want you to join me every Thursday night at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, right here at the Funky Roller Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Your home of soul, funk, and disco, baby.
Funky-licious.
There's always a party at the Funky Roller Ring.
420 Radio is brought to you by Sacred Serum, who is focused on creating elegant and sophisticated cannabis solutions through its line of dispensers and vaporizers that come preloaded with the world's finest cannabis concentrate. Sacred Serum's concentrate is made on pharmaceutical-grade supercritical CO2 extraction machines that use absolutely no butane or other toxic chemicals. The Vesica, the company's innovative new way to dab and frost, is now available in dispensaries across California. Sacred Serum, elegance and sophistication concentrated.
Welcome back, everyone. Just a short little time here before our 420 break. Coming to you live from legal Potland, Oregon. And it feels good to be legal. Reading up on a lot of the stories post-legalization night here. There's one guy quoted in the paper talking about driving down the street with a couple cannabis plants in his front seat, like they were tomato plants. Just driving down the road. Not worried a bit. Now, when you're growing cannabis, you do need to keep it out of public view. It might be thoughtful to put a bag over the plants while you're transporting them, or something opaque. Wouldn't want you to have the cops messing with you just for some fluke of public view. No reason to get in trouble over that. But I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, really. I think cops might use it if they wanted to mess with you, but I think messing with people over marijuana plants, especially if it's like, you got a couple clones and you're taking them in your car, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a big problem. But it's a beautiful thing, feeling this wave of freedom washing over us, starting from the Pacific Northwest and heading east. And I really do think that in the next couple of years, the Pacific Northwest overtakes Colorado as being known as the legal marijuana place. Portland now is in the center of this entire western strip of legality and acceptance. And there's so much tourism opportunities here, not just skiing, although I'll give it to Colorado on the skiing. They've probably got better skiing than what you'll find in Oregon and Washington. But if you're just someone who's a hobby skier, you'll find plenty of mountains here. Be just fine for you. But you also got beach and forests and lush green everywhere you look. All kinds of green. Portland, Oregon's going to be the place to be. You mark my words on that. And the cheapest place to buy legal weed in the world. Mark my words on that as well.
This is bullshit. It's like Cypress Hill concert in here.
All right, everyone, happy 420 from Legal Portland. We're going to get it legal in your neck of the woods just as soon as we can. Neck of the woods, what am I, like Willard Scott now? Oh, my God. We will get it legal where you're at just as soon as we can. We're going to prove that the sky doesn't fall here first, and we're on our way. Happy 420, everyone. .420 Radio, your ticket to the Boston Freedom Rally. Oregon has joined Washington and Colorado in legalizing marijuana. We're Portland NORML, the national organization for the reform of marijuana laws chapter in Portland, Oregon. Join us as we celebrate the launch of an exciting new era in marijuana freedom in Oregon. Our job has just begun. Powerful interests want to white out the most important portions of Oregon's legalization law. By joining Portland NORML, you add your voice to the thousands who voted for Measure 91 and want it to be implemented as written. The people have spoken. Now it is time for the legislature to obey the will of the people. Find out more about Portland NORML at portlandnormal.org. Attend our monthly membership meetings on the fourth Saturday of the month. See our website for more details. Portland NORML, ensuring responsible adult marijuana consumers are afforded the same rights, privileges, and responsibilities as beer drinkers. The Fingerboard Extension has fretted instruments to enhance your creativity. It has new and used guitars and banjos from beginning to high class. The Fingerboard Extension has National Resophonic, Husson Dalton, Larrabee, Heritage and Recording King guitars, and Mike Ramsey, Wildwood, Gold Tone, and Recording King banjos. The Fingerboard Extension also has drum stuff, used gear, and parts. Stop by the Fingerboard Extension, downtown Corvallis, Oregon at 120 Northwest 2nd, or check out the inventory on the web at fingerboardextension.com and reverb.com. Get.Buzz. .Buzz is the internet platform that fuels community interest, excitement, and new experiences. .Buzz is the premier online destination for internet users seeking the latest news on a variety of topics. .Buzz appeals to groups active in blogging, communications, journalism, advertising, and marketing. .Buzz offers registrants a stronger alternative to the shrinking namespace of existing top-level domain names, such as .com, .net, and .org. Get your name now at get.buzz.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Groovin' Thursday, featuring rap, hip-hop, soul, and funk music. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tune.
Oh, pardon the distractions here. Just trying to get the Daily Toker Tune up for today. I'd promised everyone that I was going to give you some more music from Them, the band, the three-piece band that plays at the Ed Foreman, not Ed Foreman, Aaron Ross's show, Who's the Ross. I was there on Monday, or on Tuesday night. Sorry, trying to do a million things at once here. I was there on Tuesday night for the band, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm going to see if I can get some more of their tracks for you. There was they did a great John Lennon cover, and I don't have this cut up, so I'm just trying to get the raw wave files loaded up for you, hoping that we find the right file to play. But yeah, sorry about that, and all the chaos that's been going on here the past couple of days. I lost track of doing my editing duties, and that can happen sometimes. So we're doing it live, and we'll bring you some great music here from the band. Let's see if I've got the right stuff here. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's get you some of that good music from Them, the band. I'm not sure which track this is. Like I said, we're doing it live here on the Russ Belville Show. your mind 24 hours a day. This is Radical Russ encouraging you to take a look at the Weed Blog every day. Johnny Green and the staff at the Weed Blog are on top of all the latest developments in the fight to end marijuana prohibition nationwide. You can even get the Weed Blog on your smartphone by installing the Weed Blog app for iPhone and Android. If it's about weed, it's on the Weed Blog, including my original writing. So don't delay, read the Weed Blog today. Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Very effective. Check out LushLEDlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Hey everybody, it's Radical Russ here from 420 Radio, inviting you to be like me and get your ink done at Lucky Horseshoe Tattoo, Fort Worth's most female-friendly, clean, sterile, awesome tattoo shop. Thomas and his crew are true artists who can design you a custom piece or use a design you bring in. Lucky Horseshoe Tattoo also offers all styles of tattooing as well as piercings and all-around fun. In the DFW area, stop by Lucky Horseshoe Tattoo and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Trust me, it'll feel awesome.
I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way. I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way.
Take a straight and stronger course to the corner of your life. Make the White Queen run so fast, she hasn't got time to make you wife. 'Cause it's time with your time, and this news is captured.
That, of course, is Yes with I've Seen All Good People. As a chat room let me know, one of my heroes, I did not know this, you just broke the news to me. One of my heroes on bass guitar has passed away. Chris Squire, the bassist and co-founder of the prog rock band Yes, passed away on June 27th in Phoenix, Arizona. He was the only member of Yes who played on all the Yes albums. So, yeah, there we go. Gonna let this play for a while.
Don't surround yourself with yourself. Move on back to Squire.
Welcome back, Toker Talk Radio, everybody. That was perfect break because just as we were playing that song, the FedEx delivery guy showed up with more of our Portland Normal swag. So I got to show off on the webcam. I know not all of you are watching webcam. Some of you are listening on podcast. In fact, most of you listening on podcast, but I can do this anyway. What the hell? So anyway, we got our Portland Normal sticker, and that's just got our Portland Normal logo, the state of Oregon with the Portland, Oregon in brush script with a little pot leaf where Portland is. It mimics the iconic white stag sign that we were beneath for legalization. And while it looks like a square sticker, it is a square sticker. Doesn't just look like it, it is. But it's printed on clear backing, right? So you can put that on your window and you'll just see the outline of the Portland Normal logo. We'll put that right over here on the computer. And then we've got another sticker. And folks in Austin, Texas know this because we stole it from Austin. And it's another saying in Portland as well, which is keep Portland weird. You'll see it on bumper stickers. You see it painted on Dante's, which is the place where I was at doing the Aaron Ross show. Big black background with yellow letters, keep Portland weird. So I went and made keep Portland normal, bumper sticker size, black with yellow lettering, keep Portland normal, couple little pot leaves on either side of normal. So we've got the keep Portland normal sticker. And what just showed up just now was our package of Portland Normal Bic lighters. That's right. We've got our own Portland Normal lighters, a white Bic lighter with the Portland Normal logo. Then it says Portland Normal, www.portlandnormal.org. So we now have Portland Normal lighters. Yes, it's a good thing. Glad we have them. And yes, we lost Chris Squire, the bass player of Yes. Dang, that's just a damn shame. He was a really good bass player, and somebody whose bass lines, were kind of workout stuff for me. I never played any Yes tunes live because who could cover a Yes tune? Give me a break. I always loved that when I was playing in bands too. Man, you guys do any Led Zeppelin? You guys do any Kansas? It's like, we're a 3-piece blues band, man. How are we supposed to play Kansas? You guys do any Jethro Tull? You see anybody here with a flute, man? No, we don't do any Jethro Tull. Yes was another one of those kind of bands, man, where like you love their tunes, you play them, practice them, but getting in a band and trying to cover it, do it live? No. We're not going to be doing that. So in the news today for marijuana legalization, of course, Oregon now legal. Washington has been legal. Other states are still working hard to get their legality. It looks as though the situation in Ohio is going to be an interesting one. The Responsible Ohio people, you've been following this because I've been, complaining about it, have proposed this legalization that's really good legalization compared to, prohibition, but also compared to the other legalization states. It's got pretty good, it's right in there as far as what's allowed, and goes further in protecting medical marijuana patients than any other medical marijuana state currently does, even California. And that's because it would protect the workplace rights of medical marijuana patients. Not only that they couldn't get fired for being medical marijuana patients because of a drug test or whatever, but to the point where they can bring their medicine to work and use it so long as they're not impaired on the job. And no other state has that. So if this Responsible Ohio thing passed, it's the best medical marijuana law in almost every respect since 2008 in Michigan, and better on employment rights than any other law. But it's got that cartel thing. It's got that 10 members, the 10 investor groups are going to control the only 10 grow sites in the state. That's got everybody crazy. So much so that the state legislature has proposed this other initiative, because when it comes to doing initiatives in a lot of these initiative states, most of them, the citizens can do a petition and gather enough signatures and put something on the ballot. And the legislature can refer things to the ballot. It can create its own initiatives, the legislature can, and send them to the ballot for the voters. Now, there's a couple of the states where only the legislature can refer initiatives. I don't remember exactly which couple they are. But most of them have that dual thing. The citizens can and the legislature can. So while the citizens, in this case, the citizens being the rich investors and their millionaire political guru, can petition to get this Responsible Ohio legalization plan on, now the Ohio legislature is going to put forth this initiative that says you can't write your own economic interest into the Constitution. Now, it's interesting the timing on this, because in 2009, the same millionaire political guru got together investors for a casino amendment in Ohio. 2009, they passed an amendment that would legalize casino gambling, and it wrote in only 4 locations for casinos in the state of Ohio. We're not talking about Indian casinos here. We're talking about casinos. And those 4 locations are owned and managed by the same gaming company. So in 2009, when it was casinos and not a cartel, but a monopoly, an actual monopoly, not what these anti-responsible Ohio people say is going to be a monopoly, which is actually 10 independent actors working as the sole source. It could be a cartel if they're colluding with each other, but that's illegal under antitrust laws. But in 2009, it was a monopoly for the casino industry. And where was the legislature then? Rushing to put something on the ballot that would make that impossible to pull off. Interesting, they want to change the rules in the middle of the game when it's marijuana, but casino gambling, not so much. Now, it puts this in an interesting position. One interpretation of the law in Ohio has said, whichever initiative gets the most votes wins. If the legalization amendment gets more votes than the you can't legalize a cartel amendment, then that would go into effect. But then another guy says, hold on, that's not the way it works. The way it works is citizen initiatives are delayed by 30 days. Now, this is another thing that's a hallmark in many of the initiative states. Alaska, for example, they passed their initiative and then it didn't become legal till 30 days later. Washington, D.C. passed it. It was enacted 30 days later. Washington State. I was up there December 6, 2012, because that was 30 days later when the legalization took effect. It can be longer than that. Obviously, it's been longer than that in Oregon. We passed ours in November and it wasn't until yesterday that we were legal. But the 30 days thing is kind of a common thing. And he's saying that since there's that delay, that 30-day delay, regardless of how many votes each gets, if they both pass, even if the anti-cartel thing passes with less votes, it would go into effect immediately because legislative initiatives go into effect immediately. Citizen initiatives go after 30 days. But then another person says, well, now hold on. That's a debatable point as to do we evaluate the tie that they both won on the day they won, or do we evaluate when they go into effect? Well, if this is sounding like it's a court battle, it is. This will be a huge court battle if both of these things are to pass. Now, how would I vote if I were in that situation? What if both of them are on the ballot? I vote for both of them. This might surprise some people who know that I'm a responsible Ohio supporter. But I agree that it's a loathsome thing to write in the process of granting or recognizing rights. It is a loathsome thing to write your own capitalist corporate benefit off that. I agree that's a loathsome thing. It's not so loathsome I can look a cancer patient in the face and tell her she's got to wait another 2 to 6 years for a medical marijuana law. But it's pretty loathsome. So if there's just a single question on the ballot that says, should people be able to write their own economic interests into the Constitution? I'd have to say, no, they shouldn't. Now, would I do that, possibly jeopardizing whether or not the legalization I'd also vote for could go into effect? Well, maybe. But I'm betting on something called severability. There we go. Severability clauses, which are also found in all these type of amendments. And they basically are this little bit of legalese that says, look, if one part of this thing is unconstitutional, that doesn't invalidate the rest of this thing. If you find one part's no good, it doesn't spoil the whole thing. You just take that one part out. And if that's the case, then the only part of Responsible Ohio that would have to be vacated would be the wholesale producer part, the part that writes in the 10 growers. If that part's invalidated and the rest of it stands, you remain with medical marijuana, licensed processors, licensed retailers, home grow, personal possession. You'd have all that, and the legislature would be forced into a bind where they have to regulate some sort of production scheme. This could be the best of all possible worlds, passing both of those things. It could actually get us the good parts of Responsible Ohio and force the legislature to overwrite the bad parts. This could be the best thing that ever happened to this situation.
And now, a message from former President George W. Bush to remind the American people of our responsibility in our nation's war on certain American citizens using non-pharmaceutical, non-alcoholic, tobacco-free drugs.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
That's right, America, use less drugs. Put down the Prozac, the Vioxx, and the Levitra, and turn to the herb. Use less drugs. Our national policy is no longer just say no, it's now just slow down.
You get me too high. I overanalyze. If you've ever been too high, then you can sympathize. You get me too high. And I start to fly if I said some silly thing, and that's the reason why.
420 Radio, your ticket to Seattle Hemp Fest. You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, we've got Frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com. And follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter. NORMAL stands for Responsible Adult Cannabis Use. If cannabis use is causing problems in your life, consider taking a break or seeking medical assistance. Consider ceasing cannabis use if you have a family history of mental illness. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery while impaired by cannabis use. Cannabis use is not without risks, even though the risks are far less than those posed by legal drugs. Adam Hand of Handmade Apparel produces quality custom designs for t-shirts, hats, and other apparel. Handmade Apparel is the official design shop for 420 Radio among many clients who rely on Adam Hand for everything from short-run custom projects to full-run clothing lines. Visit handmadeapparel.biz to browse the selection of handmade gear or to get a personal quote for your own designs. Handmade Apparel, a proud supporter of 420radio.org.
One down, one to go, another town, and one more show. Downtown, you give me away, but you never came back. No phone to take your place, do you know what I mean? We have the same intrigue as we caught a case.
Oh, yeah. More music from Chris Squire. And yes, that, of course, is Leave It. That's when I, sad to say, when I first got into Yes, it was that album, because that was their 80s album that hit it so big. And I'm a child of the 80s, man. So that's when I first got hip to Yes. And then I went backwards, found all that older stuff, and was just floored. Just amazed by the musicianship of that group. That, the progressive rock of the 70s, the Styx, Kansas, Jethro Tull, Supertramp, ELO, all those kind of bands, man. I have a great affinity for them because they were bands you just couldn't cover. They were just laden with thick musicianship, just amazing vocals, great songwriting, just so far away from your standard 1-4-5 blues progression. It was just such a breath of fresh air, man. I just love that kind of music. You're listening to the Russ Belville Show's Hour 2, Toker Talk Radio. Our phone lines are open at 84-420 radio. And coming up tonight, you get a replay of Big Daddy Fink's Funky Roller Rink. But unfortunately, no, Timmy, it's not last week's show. It did not get recorded, unfortunately. Is because I didn't get to it in time. I was... the way the system works is it re-records over the same hard drive in the stream thing, so I don't overwrite too much. So I did not get my due diligence done and get it replayed. So yeah, I can pull up a different episode other than episode 14, but I do not have episode 15, which was 12 inches of uncut funk. Dang. Sorry I missed that. I hate myself. I hate myself. I hate myself. All right, let me talk about California a little bit. So California coming up in 2016 is a huge, huge milestone in legalization. It's just got to happen. And I think it can, but every now and then I get these twinges, these little warning signs that start to make me wonder if we can really pull this off in California in 2016. And one of the things that's got me is this story about Ease. You've heard about this? EAZE. Ease is this smartphone app. And it was always, it was begun as a weed delivery smartphone app in California, right? Well, now, and I mentioned this on the show the other day, the folks behind Ease have put telemedicine into it so that you can video chat with a doctor and get an electronic recommendation, right? A little PDF file zipped to you, followed by your first delivery of medical marijuana. And I love it. I mean, fantastic. Great. That's what a wonderful service for the consumer. Love that part of it. But the part that scares me is if I can sit on my couch and get my medical marijuana recommendation and then get weed brought right to me on my couch, why would I get off the couch to vote for legalization? Why would I do that? The people we need in California voting for legalization are in Los Angeles County, are in the Bay Area, in these very populated liberal-leaning areas. To counteract the rural votes, the inland votes, the conservative votes, your San Diego and your Orange County and all that are going to vote against it. So if a whole bunch of our voters in the big metro areas now have access to Uber for weed, so just basically the ease of getting your medical marijuana recommendation and having it delivered to you turns this medical marijuana program in California into damn near legalization. And if you got damn near legalization, what's going to motivate you to want to vote for full legalization? Especially if full legalization comes with it clamping down on this wide open medical marijuana system. Voting for full legalization might come with regulations for such delivery services that might be more onerous than what you currently have. Now, the legalization will be better for anyone who's living in Fresno, for anyone who's living in the Inland Empire, right? San Bernardino, these more repressive areas of California. Be a boon to them, but are there enough of them? And if this delivery service is able to get into these places where there's brick and mortar bans, where you can't go to a storefront But you can get someone to just bring it to you? Why are they going to want to change anything? Why are they going to rock the boat? This has always been the worry with California is the I got's mine syndrome. You know, I got's mine. I already got my legal weed. I got my weed card. Why would I need it to be more legal? Why would I want to invite taxation and regulation and inspections and fines and all that kind of stuff? So California's huge. California's important. And it could be the bellwether of the entire country as far as which direction we go, either back toward repression or toward liberation, depending on how it falls. If California fails in 2016, that gives the anti-legalizers, that gives the Kevin Sabett's of the world all the ammunition they need, man. Even California wouldn't vote for legalization. And it could halt that momentum that we've had in so many states. So I don't know. This ease thing's got me a little bit worried. Which is not to say I want to get rid of it. I think it's a great service. I just think that California's medical marijuana might end up being as good as they get. Maybe the best they get is statewide regulation of their medical marijuana, statewide access, maybe some consistency in their statewide law, but are enough people going to want to come out for legalization? When you got an app that'll just bring your weed to you after it grants you permission to have it? I don't know. We'll have to watch for that. Also, just rounding out some of the other news stories going on, the marijuana bars. This is great news. They're campaigning for marijuana bar initiative in the city of Denver. Mason Tvert and Brian Vicente behind it. And it's long overdue. You know, this, as we move forward in legalization with other states, this needs to be considered up front. You can't legalize something, but then force people to only have it in their homes. Can you imagine the uproar if we said, all right, you have the right to keep and bear arms, but only at your house. Can't go hunting, can't take your gun out of the house. Oh my God. People's heads would be on fire, man. You can't legalize something and then give people and force them to have to, sit in their basements, smoke in their closets, smoke in their garages. And that's where we're at right now with this legalization. Is like I mentioned in numerous media reports, we're in this Jim Crow reconstruction phase. And yeah, I got some PC police response off of that. How dare you compare it to Jim Crow? Look, when you make analogies and comparisons, it does not always mean that both things are exactly proportionally equal in all details. Okay? When I say we're in our Jim Crow phase, it's a comparison to the evolution of civil rights that occurred for African Americans. It's that things go through stages, and we're currently in this middle stage, way before even our, equality stage. That's the only point of that comparison. Nobody in the world is trying to say that what we've been through as marijuana consumers is as devastating as slavery. Nobody is saying that. But lots of us are locked up in prisons, working for 17 cents an hour because of the fact that we're marijuana consumers. Nobody's saying that it's like when black folks were lynched for the color of their skin. But we do get harassed, frisked, and arrested for the smell in our pockets. Nobody's saying that this is anywhere near, the Jim Crow laws that said black people couldn't come into this restaurant or sleep at this hotel or work at this job. But we do face drug tests that keep us out of a lot of employment. And we're not allowed to be who we are when we go to hotels. So no, it's not exactly the same in degree, no. But there are similarities. It's also like when we use the come out of the closet phrase with respect to being an out marijuana consumer. No one's saying that being outed as a pot smoker is as devastating as someone who's trying to keep their homosexuality a secret. But it can cost you your job. It can lead to repercussions with friends and family. That's all. Hey, that's all the time we got. Thanks for joining us. We're happy to be legal on day 2. For everyone here at Roller J Studios, I'm Radical Russ. Until next time, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you